Hi everybody, I received several requests on how to make chocolate roses, and today we are going to make them. First, on a double boiler we are going to melt the chocolate, and then after it's completely melted we are going to add honey. So now the chocolate is melted, so now I'm going to measure 1 tablespoon honey. Okay, so now all you need to do is just make sure that the honey incorporated in with the chocolate. Okay, so you could leave it at room temperature to cool down, but this will take a very long time. Or you could keep it in the fridge. For now, I'll put it in the freezer. Now let me show you, after a few minutes in the freezer, you need to check on it every 3 minutes or so. So now it can be released from the bowl, but it doesn't stick with my hands, but it's still little soft. So I'm going to leave it more in the freezer. After maybe 30 seconds, I think now it's okay. I'll take it from the freezer and I'll start work on it. Okay, so now I took it out of the bowl. See how soft it is? So now I'm going to divide it into equal parts. I'm going to divide it into equal parts. And if you don't want to use honey, you could use corn syrup instead. So I'm going to cover these so they won't dry quickly. And this one, this is going to be my cone, the first one. Okay, so just make one side thinner than the other, just make a cone. So this is the first one. Okay, now with the first petal, make a ball, and then just make it little oval. Now I found it's much easier to work with it if I cover it with a plastic wrap and just press on it. So you want it to be thin from the edges and a little thicker from the middle. The middle and the lower parts will be little thicker, but don't make it thick because when you place it, it will break. Okay, so the first one, I just need to cover it just like that. Okay. The second one, exactly the same. So now this one will be just facing the first one that we placed, and always watch the height, they should be the same. Okay, so these are the first two. Now for the rest, we need to make some structure for the petals. So first start the same thing, just to press. Okay, so now, because this is chocolate is going to break if I place it and then make a structure. So from now I'm going to just make just like that, so it look more like natural. And now I'm going to place it so this will be in the middle of my first petal, and always watch the height. Okay. And do the same thing for the rest. Okay, just like the third one, we are going to make a little dent in this one, and now this will be in the middle of my petal. And I'll continue doing the same thing. Definitely you can use your hands, you don't have to use the plastic wrap if you want it, and that's what I'm going to make with this one. Just make it thin for the edges. And okay, give it some structure. And I'm going to place it here. After finishing our rose, I'm going to cut some of that, and I can just use it again. If it's a little hard, I can just put it on the double boiler and make it much easier to work with. Just give it a shape. I want it to be smaller from here. Okay. So now for this part, I'm going to make a leaf. I just went on the double boiler just a few seconds, make it much easier to work with. Okay, so cover it with a plastic wrap, and you could just press on it, or I have this tiny rolling pin, just gonna roll. Just make it even. And now just use a knife, any knife, and we are going to draw a leaf. Okay. Just to make it looks like a wheel, I'm going to just to draw just like a real one. Now you could just make just little dents just to make it look real leaf. You don't have to do that if you don't want it. This is kind of sharp knife. That's okay. I found always it's much easier for me to cut this part. So when I place it near the rose, it will fit perfectly. Okay, so I don't like to leave it just like this. Always give it make it real, give it some structure. So just make it like this. and it will dry just like this. So now we have our rose. Just let it dry like this, and we have our rose sit beside that, and that's it. Now the other thing that I wanted to share with you is, for this rose I used this chocolate, which is 52% cocoa. However, for 52%, whether I use honey or use corn syrup, it's a little harder to work with the chocolate, so always the roses will be thicker. However, when I use, this is 63% cocoa, it's called baking chips. This is the best one if you wanted to use. You can make your petals and your leaves much thinner, and it's much easier to work with your chocolate. So I made this one. This is really thin, and these leaves from the baking chocolate. It's really much easier, and because it's extra dark, I think it looks more pretty than the other one. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is how I keep my chocolate roses and other stuff. So you need any plastic container, line it with the parchment paper, waxing paper, or plastic wrap, and place your roses, your leaves in one layer, and keep them in the fridge. There is only one thing you need to pay attention to when you put warm food or hot food in the fridge. The temperature will rise and your chocolate will melt. So later on, when you will come and see them, they don't look as pretty as you first placed them. So if you think whatever you are going to put in the fridge, it will rise the temperature, just take your container out and then put it back later. And that's it.